So a couple of weeks ago, I hung my 1960 Wheelhorse Suburban 400 garden tractor from the ceiling. There was a debate pretty much within my head between that tractor, because it looks really good. It looks really good. And a 1956 RJ35 Wheelhorse or Pond garden tractor. And the reason I was thinking about that RJ35 is because I can't see myself ever selling it. And it's kind of too slow to actually do real work. It's also kind of too slow to just put around on. It's not practical, but it's part of the Wheelhorse story. We go a little faster today than we did back in the 50s. Our life is faster than it was back in the 50s. And so sometimes that significance of going slow is valuable, is worth it. But I took it to the big show a couple years back, and I went on Wild Bill's parade night, Friday night, under the lights. And it generally starts off mild, and it kind of gets fast. But at the mild pace, here I am cruising on this RJ35 as fast as I possibly can go, and had the fear of being run over. It's not likely that I will drive it to town to go into a parade. It's not likely that I will drive in the parade in town, because even that is a faster pace than what that RJ35 will go. The high school marching band plays in the parades. I doubt I could keep up with them. So maybe it needs to go up in the air too. I'm doing some major cleaning, and part of that cleaning is organizing. And part of that organizing is figuring out, after all this time being here, about 7 years, how I want my shop to actually perform, how I want it to work someday when I grow up. And there's not much practical about that corner right there. There is a in-floor hoist in this bay over here. And that corner over there is kind of just empty space. So I'm thinking that RJ35 needs to go up in the air over there. It needs to be on display. It needs to be part of this Wheelhorse shop and otherwise. Wheelhorse was a blip in the industry of the 50s. And there are so many people that have no idea what Wheelhorse is. And maybe it's my duty to teach. So, how are we going to get one more tractor up in the air? One of the reasons I didn't want to put it over here is because I was able to take that one apart and put it back together piece by piece. So now how do I get a garden tractor up in the air in one piece without damaging it? I think I have an idea. I have this 12-foot long, 2-inch square tubing. I have a 2-inch hitch receiver that I paid $5 for at an estate sale. And I think if I build a bracket to hold this maybe as a pivot on the corner post of the barn, and I build a bracket that attaches to the back of the frame of that RJ35, I might be able to slide the tractor up into position, maybe with a winch, maybe I'll pull it, and then I should be able to lift the other end up into place and build brackets on the other side to triangulate and support the weight of that garden tractor. I think it's a good idea. There's one way to find out. I cut this 1/4-inch plate. I've got a little test piece. What could possibly go wrong? So here I have about a 4-foot long, 1.5-inch sleeve inside my 2-inch tube, and it's tack welded and shimmed into place, so hopefully my transition is pretty smooth. I have a very large, long 1-inch ratchet strap. It might be 1.25 inches, one of them heavy duty ones. So I have the tractor up in the air. I have the tube actually slid in. I think I've got about 5 inches of positive engagement, which is awesome. And if I just crank a little bit and then give it a tug, it's just sliding along. Next thing I have is this little bracket I built. And at some point I'm going to have to take this jack out. I'm going to have to slide this up into the frame about right here. The 2-inch tube will slide through here. And these 2 holes are drilled, so these front motor mount bolts going through the frame will engage into here. So like I said before, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, we have an extended boom that has already been bent once before doing crazy stuff like this. We have a counterbalance made up of a sluice box spring from the Klondike and this old wheel and tire from a race car. Yeah, I've got this bracket fully engaged. It is bolted to the frame through the motor mounts. So now all I have to do is just start sliding it up. My counterweight weighs more than my unload. For the sake of safety and precautions, I'm going to double up my strap. I'm also considering a snowplow on this machine for the display. The snowplow in mind came with this tractor. It was built by a pretty smart guy. I saw some of his other creations, but unfortunately I wasn't able to ask him questions. But from what I understand is that this plow is a bladder tank from an old well system. It was welded at an angle to roll snow. It was open on one end and closed on the other to capture the snow and push it. It had a little bit of a custom linkage for lifting, but that's okay. I think it's part of this tractor. People can argue, but I think part of the Wheelhorse story is how people adapted one machine produced to so many needs. I think there's a place for the snowplow on this display. Just considering next steps, how to get it up there. Things are going okay. So the tractor is now on the red tube where it will rest. I thought I wanted it up, but hanging down like that's kind of cool. So my plan was that I cut the 2-inch receiver hitch in half and welded that and made that my front mount here. But I planned on using a pin through here on some type of a support rod. And what I did not think of or think through is that when I just drilled through, I ran into my sleeve, my inside sleeve, that's about probably to here. So I can't just back up. I need to build a bracket, some type of a jack post, I guess. Well, there may have been a little bit of goat roping to get this all finished up. But let's see if we can drop our yellow bars and see if the tractor stays up in the air. I'm looking for a thing. If you find the thing before I find the thing, I'll give you 5 points. That's all I had to do was just say I was looking for it. What I'm fighting right now is when I slid the two tubes together, the inside tube was a little bit smaller than the outside tube. And so I shoved a rubber plasticky contractor shim up in there. And now it's gripping on and not allowing it to come apart. So I have it apart far enough. I got a C-clamp on there. I shot some WD-40 up in there. Hopefully it'll all slide away sooner than later. There. That was the one we were looking for. A 1956 Pond Wheelhorse RJ35 hanging from the wall of the shop. Doesn't that look good? I think so. I think it looks mighty fine. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.